Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. My name is Stephen Murray, and I'm the host of the program, The Gift of Giving. Welcome to this program, and for joining us this week. It's going to be a very, very special program. We've actually got people who are willing to give money back to the community. We thought we'd start out the new year on a very, very positive note. To that end, I'd like to welcome Maureen Romito. She's the Executive Director of Impact Las Vegas, and her guest is Stephanie Kirby. She's the Executive Director of I Care for Kids, and that's a non-profit organization, and she's been the beneficiary of one of the donations from Maureen's organization. So welcome, Maureen, and welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for asking us to join you today.
It's going to be a real pleasure talking about giving money back.
That's right.
To worthwhile organizations. So let's start with you. Give us a brief overview of the organization.
Well, Impact Las Vegas is what's referred to as a collective giving organization. That means that members who want to give back but maybe can't afford to give a large amount back to the community, we all join as individuals into the collective giving, and we combine our joint donations into one large gift that we then award the following May to a nonprofit as a grant award that we all get to choose as members which one is actually the nonprofit that's awarded it. So our members join by December 31st of each year, which determines the number of members we have, determines the number of amount of money that we are able to then give back as a grant award. Last year, for instance, we had 95 members, so we awarded a grant award this past year of $95,000 back to, because each member donates $1,000 towards the grant, and 100% of that $1,000 goes back as the grant award that's given to a nonprofit.
To one organization.
Right.
And so are you looking to grow your organization?
We hope to grow, because we ask all the nonprofits when they apply for the grant, to pick a category that they would fall into. And those include arts and culture, environment, family, education, or health and wellness. Well, for a perfectly balanced community, we'd love to grow to 500 members and give like $100,000 out to each one of those categories, if at all possible. But we are hoping that we're going to be ending 2023 with more than 100, so we're going to give our first more than $100,000 grant in May of 2024.
Okay. Now, will you give it all to the one organization, or will you cut it off at 100,000 and give the surplus to somebody else?
We decided this first year we want to give one big grant, and then after that our members are going to be giving us feedback, and they get to decide, do we want to split it up maybe to two $50,000 grants or a $75,000 and a $25,000? That way we can start to benefit more nonprofits in the community. But we just figured 1 year we'd do a big blowout grant, and 2024 is the year we hope to do that.
Okay. Now, do you have a committee that picks out the organization that you ultimately give to, or does each member cast a vote? Or
well, all of our members get to volunteer to be on a grant review committee. And we get letters of inquiry in February, and our members can volunteer to review those. And we've had anywhere from 77 to 90 nonprofits apply for our grant every year. They get to review them, and we narrow it down, where each one narrows it down to top 16 that we'd like to hear more about. They're invited to then fill out the full grant application. And then we narrow that down to 4 semifinalists. Again, it's our member volunteers that are evaluating all of these. We do site visits then with the 4 semifinalists. Then we narrow it to 2 finalists who come and present to the entire membership at our annual meeting in May. And every member gets one vote to vote for who actually receives it.
So it's a narrowed down weeding process, if you will. And then the full membership gets to decide on that.
Correct.
Okay.
And any member can be involved as much as they want or as little as they want in the process.
Now, let's say if you have somebody that would like to join your organization, let's say it's a bridge group of 4 ladies, and they can't individually afford $1,000, can they, as a bridge group, have combined the 250 each to make up the one vote?
Well, we have a shared membership option that they can have. So we can have 2 $500 members to be just one full member. They
Okay.
only get one vote, but they can then share the cost of the $1,000, $500 each. And since it's January and we can collect money through to the end of December, they can take the entire 12 months and pay monthly
Okay,
if they want
okay.
to, quarterly, whatever makes the most sense for them financially to do it.
Okay. But the shared membership can only be between two
Two
people.
people, correct.
You don't go beyond the
We
two
did
or the
for a
four.
while, but we are an all-volunteer-run organization. Administratively, it's a little
Just
more
too-
difficult
yes,
to,
it's-
to manage that kind of process.
Just too hectic. You said you've got all these different choices
Correct.
of types. Are there any specifically that people gravitate towards, or
We've had this discussion as a
Yes.
membership group, is that I think it's because we're all women. The members are
Yes.
an all-women organization, and we always seem to tend towards children and family.
Yes.
So I think they sometimes, unfortunately, will, come to the top where arts and culture, if it's not involving children and families, may not. So that's partly why we'd love to grow as big as we can, so
Yes.
we can give one in all the
Yes.
different areas. But historically, we've had a variety of different organizations that we've given to. Many have been children-oriented or education-oriented or family-oriented, though we've also given to veterans groups. We've given to the food necessary
Sure.
distribution of
Sure.
food to poor
Food
people.
bank.
And most recently, we just gave for like a child care option that we gave for paying for needy families that have that
There you
need
go.
that
Good.
thing. Yes.
Yes.
It's a nice variety. And every year, by reading and being involved in the evaluating of the grant options, you get to see the need that's out there in the community, which is incredible. You hear about nonprofits you had no idea existed before you saw this, and you can see the changing of the needs in the community
Yes.
as we go along. So
Sure.
it's a wonderful option because it doesn't lock you into only supporting
No.
this kind of cause or this particular charity. You can see a variety of those things.
Well, I tell you, when this program airs, on my followers are all the people who have been interviewed on this program in the past. I'm sure once they see this program, you're going to get a flood of applications and letters.
That would be wonderful
So,
because we'd love to get that kind of
Yes,
thing.
and
Yes,
they're
and
all
get the
from
word out.
different backgrounds, and health and family and veterans and homeless and what have you.
And we-
How do you find your members?
The members are usually kind of grown through peer-to-peer in people that we meet. We invite our members to invite friends and families, colleagues, neighbors, and we usually hold like informal little socials where we'll just explain what it is that we do and see if they'd like to be interested in joining and answer any of their questions. And that's been the biggest way that we've grown. So we've grown very slowly over the years. We started in 2014 was our first grant. We started with only 13 members and
Oh,
gave a
my.
$13,000 grant the first year.
Yes.
And then every year we've been slowly growing. And that's why we hope to continue to do that for years to come.
Well, what's the renewal been so far this cycle?
So far,
have
look-
most of them have signed up?
Yes, they
re-signed
have,
up?
and we've got about 27 new members so far. So
Wonderful.
we're pretty sure we're going to be definitely over the $100,000 mark for this next year in terms of the size of the grant. And then after that, we'll decide maybe we'll split it up as we go along. Because we have historically seen about anywhere from 80% to 90% of our members renew every year and stay and participate again the following year in the
Wow.
organization. Yeah, it's been wonderful. It's a great option.
It sounds like it's a wonderful organization.
It is, and you meet some incredible women and learn about the needs
Yes.
in our community.
Have you thought about opening it to men?
We have thought about that. We actually invite all of our spouses to attend the meeting where we actually vote. So they get to see firsthand exactly how things are working. And actually, we have what we call our family auxiliary kind of thing, family partners. They're the ones that actually count the votes rather than
Yes.
us as
Gotcha.
members. So they get to see firsthand how it happens.
Well, I hope the husbands aren't telling their wives how to vote.
Well, that might happen too, but we're all pretty independent
There you
sometimes.
go. Good. We're going to take a little brief break. Please stay with us. We're going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
At Lucia Capital Group, we've been helping people manage risk and plan for their future through some of the most challenging market conditions. Volatility in the stock market will never go away, so it's really all about your strategy and how you react to it. Our bucket strategy aims to help you manage your financial goals even during the most uncertain times. I'm Joshua Dowden. I've been working with clients here for more than 16 years, and I can help you as well. My office is right here in the heart of Summerlin, just north of Charleston Boulevard. Don't let the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Call me today for a free consultation. 702-508-6421. That's 702-508-6421.
Welcome back to our program, everyone. And I'd like to thank our first sponsor, Joshua Dowden from Lucia Capital Group. And I'd like to thank him for sponsoring this program and for taking care of my retirement all through these years and enabling me to retire nicely. So we're now going to start this segment with one of the beneficiaries of the largesse of Impact Las Vegas. Stephanie Kirby, you're from Eye Care for Kids. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your organization and what they do?
Sure, thanks for having me. So we are a nonprofit that is dedicated to providing vision care, professional vision care, to kids in Clark County School District who are underserved, lack of resources, lack of access to care. So we have a couple of clinics, brick and mortar stationary clinics on school campuses, and then we have a mobile vision clinic that travels every day that the district is open. We go to a different school and provide the services right at the school. So it really cuts down on transportation issues, just barriers on families getting their children that medical care, that critical medical care. And so, yeah, we'll go right to the school, and they come on the clinic, and it's just a regular clinic on wheels. It's a little thinner, maybe a little longer, but they receive their vision screening, their exam, and then they can pick out a frame that they love. You know, the color they like, the style they like. And then we'll go back afterwards. Our optician will go back to the school and dispense right in the schools and make sure that they fit, and then just teach them about caring for their new lenses. A lot of times it's their first time having something like that. So just really making sure that they understand what their diagnosis is, when they need to wear their glasses, and really how to be responsible for caring for them.
Cool. And how long have you been around?
I've been around a while.
No, I mean the organization.
So Eye Care for Kids, we started in Utah about 22 years ago, and then expanded here just about 12 years ago now. And our mobile vision clinic will be 10 years old in 2024. So, yeah.
And how frequently do you go around to the schools? Is it once a month you visit each of them, or every 3 months, or
Daily?
You get around all of the schools daily?
As many schools as we can within the school year. So in February, we'll open the calendar for the 24-25 school year. So schools can contact us and pick the day that they would like us to come to their school. And it's Title I schools, so we go to the communities and the schools where the need is the highest. Anybody in Clark County with a need can come to our clinics. But again, we take the mobile to the highest need areas.
Okay, but when you go, how often do you go back to that same school? Let's say, is it you go back a month later or 2 months later? You go back to that school
to dispense the glasses,
or
just with the mobile,
to see if there's to dispense glasses, or with the mobile.
Right. So to dispense glasses, we go back as soon as the glasses come in from our lab. Our optician will go out and dispense them. So there is a really, really high need, and we have hundreds and hundreds of schools in Clark County School District. So what we've done before is we would open the calendar and tell schools that they can choose 2 dates, usually a fall semester and a spring semester date. But our waiting list is almost surpassing the amount of days in the district now. So we're going to limit it to 1 day for a month. So the schools, as many schools as possible, can choose 1 day. And then after a month, we'll open it up so schools can choose the second day if they can get in there. We would rather be able to get to a school at least once than not go at all. So
No, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. So now you were the beneficiary of the largesse of Impact Las Vegas.
We were.
You know, $100,000 isn't chump change, not even to people like Elon Musk, I don't think.
No, it's not.
So, what was your reaction when you heard that you and your team were going to get this $100,000, this huge chunk
Yeah.
of change?
So we received 50,000. That's how
We were
many
smaller.
members? Yeah, so it was 50,000. But that is that's an incredible amount of money.
Yes.
Incredible amount of money. So when I applied for the grant, even now, I don't think we're as well known. You know, there's a really specific niche that that we fill, and so the schools really know a lot about us, but the community at large may not know that we exist or really what we do. So I knew I was up against that a little bit, just name recognition
Yes.
and visibility. But I figured, I'm just going to be very open about what we do, very straightforward and transparent, and they liked us.
We did.
So I applied for a brand new program called the PERF program, which is Patient Eyeglass Replacement Fund. Because as many glasses as we give out and as much education as we provide, a lot of times kids will get their glasses, they're like, these are great, broken, or lost
Left
within
somewhere.
a day.
Yep.
Yeah. So we wanted to be able to, and if families are not able to afford glasses the first time around, a replacement pair,
Yes.
is likely not, they're not able to do that as well. So, yeah, we received $50,000, and when it was narrowed down to us and another organization, the other organization is incredible in the community, also serves children. I adore what they do. Pretty high name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, it's just great that we made it this far,
Yeah.
And then in that final meeting, you have 10 minutes to just sell it. Before the votes are cast. And so I prepared, and we just went in there, and I just, again, was just very transparent about what we do and what we want to do with the money. And when they turned the check around and it had I Care for Kids written on it, I was shocked. We were so excited and so shocked. But what's really nice, and this is something that Maureen can touch on as well, is that a lot of members will give a little bit more than their $1,000. So there's additional funds there. So whoever comes in second also gets, some money
they
as
get
well.
oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
so nobody walks away, empty-handed. There is
Yes.
some money there, and so
Yes, there's a
and that was pretty
consolation
high.
prize.
Last year was I
Yes.
think it was about $10,000
It was
last year,
$10,000
so
last
which is
Oh,
a good amount of money as well. Yeah,
That's
a
not
really
chump
good.
change either.
No,
you
no.
know, that
So
really
it's
isn't.
nice, of course, winning, but you also feel good that the other organization,
It's getting,
receives something
yes,
as
you
well.
don't feel guilty about walking away and they've gone away with nothing, and they
Yeah.
put in the work that you have
Right.
too, probably.
Exactly.
Did you, when you applied for this grant, did you have this program in mind as to where you were going to spend the money once you got it, or did you get the money and think, now where
Now
do we
what?
spend it? Yes, well, there's always places to put the money,
Right,
but
right.
did you put in your grant that this is what you would like to do with the money if you won it?
I
Was that-
did. Yeah,
so,
it was something
so you
that
knew up
we
front
just
where the
Right.
money was going to go.
Exactly. So it was something that I had been thinking about, but just didn't have the funding, in front of me for it. So I said, well, that's what I'll apply for. That's the program that I'll start with this funding if we receive it. So
Yes.
yeah, we were able
So-
to do that. Mhm. Yeah, it was great.
It was.
Now, are you a member of the organization now,
Impact.
Impact
I
Las
am.
Vegas?
So
You are?
we received the funding in 2019, which is a very tricky time that we received
Gosh,
it
yes.
because you have 2
COVID, yeah.
years and then COVID hit.
Yes.
Within less than a year, COVID was there. So thankfully, and everybody understood, we were just given a little bit more time to be able to spend that money because even though kids were still technically in school virtually, we didn't know who was breaking their glasses or losing
Sure.
their glasses. We just didn't have the connection to the kids that we did before when school was in session, or in the schools, when the kids were in the schools. So we utilized the funding probably by about 2021 or 2022. And then, yes, I became a member after the fact.
After that.
I loved just the theory of collective giving.
Yes.
And Maureen just nailed it with, your $1,000 can go much further with 99 other women
Yes, there you go.
than
Yes.
your
Yes.
lone $1,000.
Yes. Cool. Just before we go into the next sponsorship break, would you like to give us the phone number and website address of how people can reach out to I Care for Kids if they're interested in volunteering or knowing more about your organization?
Sure. It's 702-727-3525. And our website is iCare for Kids, iCare, EYECARE, the number 4, kids.org.
Okay, great. Okay, we're going to take another sponsorship break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
As a proud sponsor of the Gift of Giving, Thomas Dermatology is deeply rooted in its Las Vegas community and is always looking for ways to give back and continue to serve patients of the Las Vegas Valley. Amidst the rapidly and ever-changing landscape of healthcare delivery, both nationally and locally, our singular focus on patient care has remained constant. We have grown responsibly, enabling our team of skincare experts to provide all the benefits of a large practice while maintaining the care and relationships that comes with a small, private, local practice. For patients with cosmetic interests, Thomas Dermatology has an extensive aesthetics department featuring a team of experts who provide cosmetic injections like Botox and dermal fillers, as well as a full suite of state-of-the-art lasers and med spa services. The newest addition to the clinic is a facial plastic surgery division, allowing us to treat the aging face more comprehensively. These services are complemented by our extensive inventory of skincare products, offering patients the necessary and evidence-based ingredients to improve and maintain the health and look of their skin at home. Thomas Dermatology strives to be a part of every step in the patient's journey to healthy skin. We look forward to welcoming you and your families.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you to Thomas Dermatology for sponsoring this program. I appreciate their care and consideration and compassion they've certainly given me over the years. And welcome back, Maureen and Stephanie. So, Maureen, let's go back to you. Stephanie alluded to when she received the money, there was a time frame in which she has to spend the money, and allowances were made because of circumstances. Is there a time frame? And
There is. Our grant program process actually starts the beginning of January when we announce how many members we have and the total dollar amount of what our grant is going to be. Mm-hmm. And we also notify the nonprofits on our mailing list. We also put out a press release to let the community know that here's how much we're going to be giving away in May. Then in the month of January, the nonprofits can go onto our website and download or look at our online letters of inquiry form that's there. And also on the website are the guidelines for what the organization has to be. For instance, they have to be a 501c3 public charity, IRS recognized, etc. And also there's things in there that we don't fund. We don't just fund, like a capital fundraising campaign, or that it's just general operating funds. Mm-hmm. It's got to be for a project or program expansion that benefits Southern Nevadans. Mm-hmm. So, even if it's a national organization, what they spend it on has to be within Southern Nevada. So they have till the very beginning of February to submit letters of inquiry. And then our members evaluate during February those letters of inquiry. And as I said, they can run anywhere from 70 up to 90 letters of inquiry that we've got to get through, and choose who we want to invite to then submit a full grant application, which asks a lot more detailed information. Mm-hmm. So they have the month of March to submit their full grant application, the 16 organizations. We look at it for the first 2 weeks in April, narrow it down to four semifinalists, then go on site visits to those 4. And by the end of April, we know who our 2 finalists are going to be. And in May is when the members get together the very first weekend in May, and we'll vote and decide who is who is our grant recipient of
Okay.
2024.
And the money's given out when?
The money is given out usually right away, or we ask them as part of the grant application for what we call a disbursement schedule of when do they want to receive it. Because for some programs, they have to use it within 2 years. In some programs, we may be paying it out over every quarter. It may be twice a year. It may be once a year, or it may be all up front. Like when we bought a truck for the Just One project, they needed the money all at once to be able to
Sure.
buy the truck. But they have to submit reports on a regular basis to say, how they've been spending the money and how they've spent it, as well as what progress they've seen with the project that they submitted for, how many individuals were maybe served with this, or how was it spent, and tell us maybe some stories about people that have benefited from us.
Sure.
Because we do want to hear how wonderful we've been.
Yes.
Because every November we hold what we call our Celebrate Our Impact Luncheon, where the current year's recipient and the previous year's recipient are invited to meet with our members and their guests and hear how the money's been spent and what's been going on. And it gives us a chance to celebrate the
Yes.
impact that we're actually
Yes.
been having.
Yes.
Because I always like to say is that, I'm not a wealthy woman, I don't have a lot of money, but this allows me to feel like Elaine Wynn or Bill
Sure.
Gates,
Yes.
because I'm giving $95,000, even though it cost me $1,000 of
Yes.
my own money. And if I pay for it over time, like start taking it monthly in December, for $1,000, that's like $83.35 a month that it
Yes.
just has to be paid. It's a lot easier to do rather than
Yes.
one big lump sum.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, your logo says it all. It's a little drop of water going into a pond with the ripples. So,
It's exactly
I
why
mean, that
we
sums
picked
it all up, isn't it?
It does,
Just sums
because
it up.
there is so much more we can do as a group than we can maybe do individually.
No
And it
question.
makes a bigger difference with what the community gets as a benefit
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when they fill out the grant, is there something that says how will you use the money? I mean,
Yes.
so they do have to specify. Now, can they specify multiple projects, or does it have to be one project?
We've actually had in the past some organizations submit 2 grant applications, one for one project and one for another project. And they may not be evaluated in the same group that's evaluating
Okay.
the things. So they may be able to, if they're both chosen as finalists, they might both be up against each other for depending on the project.
Well,
We haven't had that happen yet, but
no.
it's possible that they can do that.
But if the grant's for 100,000, some of the projects might be smaller. They'll need 25,000 for this and 50,000 for that and 25,000 for that. That collectively they make up that $100,000. But could they just put that all in the one application?
They probably
these are the
could.
three?
They could describe it as a project that's maybe got these 3 individual things that are going to be
Okay.
part of it. So
Yes.
yes, there's a way to do that would make it be able to split it up and to use it for
Okay.
multiple projects. So yes, that's a very good way of thinking of it, that they can actually do that. Yes.
Do multiple projects.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
I've had organizations ask me, is this a good project or is this? And I may love the idea, but I'm one vote, just like Stephanie's
Yes.
one vote. And when it comes down to it, I've always said the very, very first year, the organization I thought was going to go all the way and get the grant didn't even make it to the grant application stage because
Oh, wow.
my fellow
Yes.
members picked other organizations.
organizations.
So
Yes.
it's amazing. I mean, obviously, by the time it gets to the finalists, the 4 semifinalists are all worthy, and there's no problem with who's going to end up getting the actual grant. But it is interesting to see who actually gets it at the end, because it may not be my favorite.
Well, we all look at the same thing and see it differently.
Exactly.
We can go to a movie and all come away with different
Right.
impressions. So people are looking at applications and grants, and they're latching on to different things that leap
absolutely.
up from the page. So.
Some of our members feel very strongly about, well, we should only focus on smaller organizations because they don't have the funding resources
Yes.
that big ones do. Others say, well, the big ones do such a good job with it, I trust them more with this money. And then others that it's based on what sang to their heart and made them feel the
Yes.
best about
Yeah.
them. And so every year, it's amazing to see what goes all the
The
way through.
elimination process
Right,
of
it
and
is.
cutting down.
It's really wonderful.
Have you ever had any conflict of interest?
We
issues?
ask, as part of our organization, there is a strong conflict of interest policy for our members. And also for the people that apply. The nonprofits that apply are forbidden from contacting any of our members individually or to try to influence us in any way. The same thing applies to our members, is that if I really love I Care for Kids, I can't be out talking to my fellow members about, you really should consider them and try to influence their vote. Our members, historically, when we have done our evaluations, we do it as individuals, and then may discuss it as a group. But that way, none of us influence or, kind of be the strong person to force them all to vote in a particular way. We don't want that to happen. And also, when we first here's the list of who's going to be in your group to evaluate. Do you have any conflicts? So every member has to identify that, it's not just that, yes, I've donated to them in the past, but I feel really strongly about this organization, or I'm on their board, or my family's always been associated. They need to identify that for us, so we put them in a different group and they don't evaluate those individuals. So, for instance, if Stephanie was helping evaluate if I Care for Kids applied again, she would not be assigned to look at anything having to do with I Care for Kids.
Gotcha.
She might still have a final vote, though, since she's only one of 100. She's only one of 100 members taking a look at that.
Would you like to give us the website information of where people can go and do that inquiry letter and review the grant application?
Absolutely.
Is the grant application on the same website so people can start thinking about it?
The application's not, but we also every October hold a training for nonprofits where we walk them through our process and even walk them through how we evaluate it, so they know exactly what to expect.
Okay.
But our website is at www.impact-lv.org. And there's a grants page that's on there, and on the grants page there's guidelines. It also will have a link in January for the letter of inquiry form for anybody that's interested to at least start the process of applying. And there's also a page on membership, which will give you a lot of information if you're an individual that would like to be a member, how to become a member. And you can pay online, or you can pay with Zelle, you can pay with ACH, or you can just set up your normal bank account to pay us monthly. That's what I do, kind of thing, to have us pay us monthly, if you want to do it that way.
Yes.
And there's a lot of information, including information about all of our past grantees and our 990, because we are a 501c3 IRS-approved public charity, so any gift made to us can be tax deductible. So we'll be the one that acknowledges the donation rather than the individual organization,
Charity.
which saves them time.
There you go.
And we are an all-volunteer organization. There's no staff.
No staff.
Our members all volunteer, and our board of directors have been incredibly hardworking to help us to do everything
cool.
that needs to be done. Yeah.
Great. It's been wonderful having both of you on. You, Maureen, for what you do and getting all these people together to raise the money, and you, Stephanie, for what you do for I Care for Kids. That's amazing. Hopefully we've raised the awareness of your organization a little bit. You said not many people know about you, so hopefully a few more will be from watching this program. So thank you both for being with us today. Fully
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And Happy New Year.
Thank you, and you too. And I'd also like to thank John Stiles, the show's producer and owner of the TV station, for allowing me to host this program. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, Thomas Dermatology and Lucia Capital Group, and my business partner for 25 years, RJ Champion. You'll hear his message right at the end of this program. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, Stephen at thegiftofgiving.vegas. And I thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. Please join us next week, where our guest will be Maribel Garcia from Nevada Blind Children's Foundation. They're an amazing non-profit organization. I hope you will join us. In the meantime, please stay safe, be kind to one another, and have a great new year. Thank you for being with us. Bye for now.
Mr. RJ Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.